Just as automakers were investing billions in new factories, battery plants, and next-generation vehicles, Washington unveiled a surprise tariff proposal that could reshape trade across North America. Canada is now among dozens of countries being targeted, and while the proposal remains under review, it has already raised new questions about manufacturing jobs, vehicle prices, supply chains, and future investment decisions. If these measures move forward, the effects could extend far beyond politics and into the vehicles people drive every day. Your roadmap to the latest in auto? Welcome to Highway Herald. Today we're breaking down the biggest developments, what they mean for the automotive industry, and why the biggest story may not be the tariffs themselves. Number 5. The tariff proposal that caught everyone off guard. One of the year's most unexpected trade developments emerged shortly after Canadian Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc met with U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer in Washington. Following the meeting, the U.S. Trade Representative released findings from a Section 301 investigation examining forced labor enforcement across roughly 60 economies, resulting in a proposed tariff framework that includes Canada. Under the proposal, certain non-exempt Canadian exports could face a 10% tariff due to concerns over enforcement effectiveness. Canada was placed in a lower category than countries such as China, India, Japan, and South Korea, which face a proposed 12.5% rate. Importantly, the tariffs remain under review, with public comments and hearings scheduled before any final decision. The proposal highlights the growing connection between trade policy, labor standards, supply chain oversight, and geopolitics, creating new uncertainty for Canada-US trade relations. But while the tariff announcement grabbed the headlines, the industries potentially affected are what have businesses paying close attention, especially the automotive sector. Number 4. Why vehicle manufacturers are watching closely. The automotive industry is watching these proposed tariffs closely, even though many USMCA-compliant products would likely remain exempt. While that could limit direct impacts on automakers, modern vehicle manufacturing relies on highly integrated North American supply chains. Components such as engines, transmissions, semiconductors, batteries, electronics, and steel parts frequently cross borders multiple times before final assembly, meaning even limited trade barriers can create widespread ripple effects. Ontario remains a critical automotive hub, supporting major manufacturers including Ford, General Motors, Stellantis, Honda, and Toyota, along with thousands of suppliers. The timing is especially important as automakers invest billions in hybrids, EVs, battery plants, and next-generation production facilities. For consumers, higher supply chain costs could eventually affect vehicle prices. Ultimately, the greatest concern for manufacturers may not be tariffs themselves, but the uncertainty surrounding future trade rules and investment decisions. And that uncertainty exists because the tariff proposal is only one piece of a much larger negotiation taking place behind closed doors. Number 3. The high-stakes negotiations still unfolding. The proposed tariffs are only one part of broader negotiations between Canada and the United States centered on the ongoing review of the USMCA trade agreement. Officials continue discussing long-standing issues including dairy access, agricultural policies, alcohol distribution systems, and regulations affecting major technology companies. While both countries share similar labor standards, regulatory frameworks, and legal systems, factors that could help support a compromise, progress has been slower than many expected. Earlier hopes for major breakthroughs by July have largely faded, with negotiations likely extending beyond initial timelines. For manufacturers, suppliers, and automakers, the uncertainty creates challenges when making long-term investment decisions involving vehicle production, battery plants, hybrid technologies, and future manufacturing facilities. Until greater clarity emerges, uncertainty itself may remain one of the most significant factors influencing investment, production planning, and industrial growth across North America. Before we continue, if you're enjoying Highway Herald's coverage of the biggest developments shaping the automotive world, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. It helps support the channel and ensures you never miss our latest vehicle updates, industry analysis, and breaking automotive news. Yet even if negotiators eventually reach common ground, some industries could face much greater exposure than others. Number 2. The sectors that could feel the greatest impact. While the automotive industry has received significant attention, several other sectors could face even greater exposure if the proposed tariffs move forward. Softwood lumber remains one of the most closely watched industries, as it has long been a source of trade disputes between Canada and the United States. Additional tariffs could further impact producers, builders, and consumers. Furniture manufacturers are also concerned because their cross-border supply chains depend on predictable costs and trade conditions. Heavy equipment producers, including makers of construction, agricultural, mining, and industrial machinery, could see higher production expenses due to tariff-related disruptions. One important exception involves many steel and aluminum products already subject to Section 232 tariffs, which would generally avoid an additional tariff layer. Across all sectors, however, uncertainty remains the biggest concern, complicating investment decisions, expansion plans, and long-term business strategies. But the real story may not be which industries are affected today. It may be what this entire dispute reveals about the future of North American trade and manufacturing. Number 1. The bigger picture behind the tariff debate. The most important takeaway from this story is that it extends far beyond tariffs alone. What we're witnessing is part of a broader transformation in global trade policy. Increasingly, governments are linking trade decisions to labor standards, environmental requirements, supply chain security, geopolitical competition, and national security objectives. For the automotive industry, this shift could have enormous consequences. Automakers are investing billions into battery plants, semiconductor production, critical mineral processing facilities, and next-generation vehicle manufacturing. Future trade rules may influence where those investments are made, where jobs are created, and which countries emerge as preferred destinations for industrial growth. Consumers could also feel the effects through vehicle pricing, product availability, and manufacturing competitiveness. Even when a tariff isn't visible on a window sticker, its impact can ripple throughout the supply chain. The next major milestone arrives with the upcoming hearings and public comment period. At that point, Washington will decide whether these proposals move forward, are revised, or are ultimately set aside. Which brings us to the biggest question of all. What does this mean for the future of North American manufacturing? Verdict: a defining moment for North American manufacturing. Even though these tariffs have not yet been implemented, they have already served as a reminder of how deeply connected the North American economy has become. For Canada, the challenge is preserving reliable access to its largest export market. For the United States, policymakers must balance labor enforcement goals with the realities of integrated supply chains. And for automakers, suppliers, and manufacturers, adaptability may become more important than ever. What happens next could influence manufacturing investment, future vehicle production, supply chain strategies, and consumer prices for years to come. Now we'd like to hear from you. Do you believe these proposed tariffs will ultimately be implemented? Could they significantly impact vehicle prices and future automotive investment across North America? And which industry do you think has the most at stake if these trade measures move forward? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your perspective helps drive the conversation within the Highway Herald community. And if you enjoyed this report, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to stay informed about our upcoming vehicle updates, industry developments, and automotive news coverage. Thanks for watching Highway Herald. We'll see you in the next one. You can now check out any of the videos on your screen for more automotive news, industry insights, and vehicle updates.